Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today I've got a small book haul for you. So in the last week or so I've had two lovely packages arrive which I wanted to show you the contents of today. So one of those came from Andrew from the channel It Came From The Page, and one of them came from one of my subscribers, Eerie. Eerie sent me, as well as some books, an American food, which is one of those American foods that I only know about from like movies and books and things like that. I have never tried it. I don't think you can get it over here. So as part of this video, I'm going to try this food and see what I think of it. So if you only care about the books, you're probably only going to want to watch the first half of the video. If you only care about me trying weird American foods, you might want to skip forward to the second half of the video. I've done a few videos before, or a couple of videos before, where I eat weird American food and give my give my reaction to it. The first was a giant pickle, which was disgusting. The second was a Starbucks pumpkin spice latte, which made me feel like I was having a heart attack. So hopefully I'll have more luck today. Anyway, let's start with the books. So let me start with the books that Andrew sent me. So Andrew, whose channel you should subscribe to because it's fantastic, is very widely read but hates men's adventure books. Now I love men's adventure books, so things like The Executioner and the Survivalist books are, you know, kind of mainstays of my reading diet. So Andrew had picked up a few books from a series called TNT a while back. I think he tried at least one of them and hated it, so he said he'd send them to me, which was really kind of him. They've arrived and I'm going to show them to you. But let me just talk about TNT first. So the TNT series, I think, is a really interesting series of books in that it was originally published in French. So these are originally French books that were then translated into English and sold in America. I'm not sure if they were ever actually published in the UK or not, but certainly were published in America. And are supposed to be like wildly over the top kind of, you know, ridiculous adventure stories. You'll see from the covers and the blurbs that they certainly feel like they are going to be that. So they are supposedly, or the name on the cover is Doug Masters. I think the original author in French, let's see if it says who it was. It doesn't actually say what the name of the original French author was. But anyway, Andrew has sent me these from Canada. You can tell they're from Canada because some of them have got stamps in from like one of those secondhand bookshops or book exchanges where you can like buy a book and then take it back and get half your money back for another purchase. The bookshops that have the stamps inside these books are in a place called Moose Jaw in Saskatchewan. And Moose Jaw is like the most Canadian sounding town I've ever heard of. Anyway, I'll stop rambling and show you the books. So 3 books. I'm not sure how many books there are in total in the TNT series. I need to figure that out and see if I can acquire the other ones. So we've got the first one, TNT. We've got, well, I assume it's the first one. We've got TNT Spiral of Death and TNT Kingdom of Death. So they all sound a lot of fun. Let me read you the blurb from TNT, and then I'm also going to read you the bit inside because it's absolutely hilarious. So let me read you the back. So meet Anthony Nicholas Twin, a new kind of hero for a new kind of world. A man who has lived through hell and can now kill in the dark like a cat. A man forced to steal a secret formula that makes gasoline cheaper than water. A man faced with an army of women made deadly by insatiable lust. And October, sweet innocent October, with the body of a goddess, the mind of a child, and the luck of the damned. That feels like it could be hugely inappropriate, so we shall see. TNT, it begins beyond anything you have ever experienced before. So let me read you at least the start of the kind of what you get in the first page as kind of a preview of the contents of the book. Because it made no sense to me. Chain him, she said. She took off her blouse. She now wore less than nothing underneath it. I don't know what that means. How can you wear less than nothing? I understand how you could have nothing on underneath your blouse, but how can you have less than nothing? That just feels bizarre. Anyway, I won't read anymore because it gets really rude, but I did want to read that bit. So yes, 3 classic looking men's adventure books. Very much looking forward to reading those. So thank you again, Andrew, for sending them. And then Erie sent me 3 books as well. So let me show you those, and then I'll show you the weird American food that she sent me. So the first 2 books are by the same author, an author I hadn't heard of, but who sounds fantastic. So that author is Celia Dale. So the 2 books are A Dark Corner and A Helping Hand. So Celia Dale sounds like she was kind of writing in the same kind of area as like Patricia Highsmith, so kind of domestic thriller type stories, and also Shirley Jackson, so that kind of mix of kind of crime and horror. So these both look fantastic. Let me read you the blurb of one of them. So let me read you the blurb of A Helping Hand. Josh and Maisie Evans are a seemingly ordinary middle-aged couple on holiday in Italy, where they meet Mrs. Fingal, an elderly woman living unhappily with her niece. Josh and Maisie have a spare room, and everyone might be better off if Mrs. Fingal moved in with them instead. After all, they're always glad to lend a helping hand, especially to a lonely and wealthy old lady. First published in 1966, Celia Dale's A Helping Hand is a chilling work of psychological terror that explores the true evil that often lurks behind a respectable facade. So this sounds fantastic. They both look really fantastic. So really looking forward to reading those. The other thing Erie sent me is like wonderful, bizarre but wonderful. So let me show you what it is first, and you'll see why it's bizarre. So it is a book called Spooster Malik Darabaku, which is by Evan Hunter. So Evan Hunter, as you will know if you are a long-time subscriber, or indeed, maybe even a short-time subscriber of the channel, is my favourite author. So also known as Ed McBain, the author of the 87th Precinct series, all of which I have back there, my favourite series of books of all time. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful author. So this book is, I think, the Czech edition of Every Little Crook and Nanny. So this is an Evan Hunter book that I think came out in the 60s. I have read it. I read it years and years ago, but I have it on my Kindle to reread. So clearly I cannot read this Czech edition of it because I don't speak Czech, and it's definitely not written in a language I'm familiar with or can read. It does have some lovely pictures and things like that in it though, which I don't remember from the first time I read it. I think I got it out in the library the first time I read it. I'm sure it did have pictures in it, as Evan Hunter books tend to, or often do anyway. So why has Erie sent me a book I cannot read, other than the fact that it's an interesting curio? Well, the reason is that it is signed. So this is a signed copy. So there you can see Evan Hunter's signature. And I'm just overwhelmed and delighted by this. To own a signed book by my favourite author of all time, who is, long dead, so died about 20 years ago, is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So thank you so much, Erie. I really, truly appreciate this. And this is going to have pride of place on my bookshelf. So those are the books that Erie sent me. The other thing Erie sent me was, as I said at the start, what I consider to be a weird American food. So Americans watching may be insulted by that when I show them what it is. It may be that this is something you eat every day and love, and it's a staple part of your diet. But it's one of those things, as I say, that I've only ever heard about in books. I've never seen it in shops over here. It seems like a weird thing to me, and I've never really understood what it is. Although having received this box, I do understand more what it is now. Anyway, that thing is grits. So Erie has sent me a box of instant grits from Quaker. So Quaker is a company that do make stuff over here. We get Quaker porridge oats over here, but we certainly don't get instant grits from Quaker over here. So what you've got in here is 3 sachets of original flavour grits. I don't know what the original flavour of grits is, so I'll definitely have to try those. You get 3 sachets of butter flavour grits, 2 of cheddar cheese flavour grits, and 2 of country bacon flavour grits. So I'm really looking forward to see what these are like. So what I'm going to do now for the second part of the video is make up some grits and eat them and let you know what I think of them. Okay, so this is the box of grits. I think I'm going to try the country bacon one first. So it's Sunday as I'm filming this, and what I'm intending to do is have for a kind of Sunday brunch type of a deal some scrambled eggs and baked beans. I've googled what you eat with grits, and there is a suggestion you can have them for breakfast with bacon or sausages or something like that. So I haven't got any of that in the house, but I figured I would have it with some baked beans to make it more British and some scrambled eggs. So looking at the instructions for how you make these things, to me, as a Brit, that second one down looks like you are adding tea from a teapot to a bowl of grits, but clearly it's not. It's just hot water. I don't know why. Why is that? Why does that look like a teapot? Is that just what American kettles are like? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to make these up with some boiling water, make some scrambled eggs, and warm up some baked beans, and see how I get on. Okay, so here is the sachet or packet of instant grits country bacon flavour. For some reason I was surprised by the fact the packet was brown. I expected it to be white, but maybe that's just a UK thing. So I've got a bowl. I have boiled some water. Now you need half a cup of water, so I had to figure out what a cup is. A cup apparently is about 236 millilitres. So I've got about 120 millilitres of just boiled water in here. So I just need to pour that in. It doesn't look hugely appetising. I feel like that's too much water. That feels like a lot of water, unless these, whatever the stuff is in here is super absorbent. Anyway, I guess I'll leave that. So it doesn't say leave it, it just says stir it. Okay. No, it's getting a little bit of consistency. There's some brown fake bacon bits in there as well, so I'm going to keep stirring that while my beans warm up on the stove, and then get this served and give it a try. Okay, so here we go. I've served it up. It's all very liquidy. Looks like the sort of thing you get served in prison, I think, in one of those plastic trays with different compartments. So anyway, I've got some beans, which have kind of blended in a little bit on the edges with the grits. So there's the grits, got beans, scrambled eggs and a bit of sourdough bread, if for nothing else than to mop up all the juice at the end. So I'm going to sit down and see what this is like. Okay, given that I know what baked beans and scrambled eggs taste like, I guess I might as well dive straight into the grits. So they have definitely solidified a little bit, so they're not quite as runny as they were when I first made them. So here we have some delicious country bacon grits. I've really got no idea what these are going to be like. So I might as well just shove them in. Ooh. The texture is weird. It's kind of like tiny tapioca. The like fake bacon flavour is exactly the kind of fake bacon flavour you'd expect. And not too unpleasant. But the texture of them is just weird. It feels like it's too small. You know, it's not like something like porridge where there's a bit of substance to the oats. This feels like too small. It's kind of like one grain of fineness up from something like semolina, which is completely has no kind of texture to it at all. It's almost just like thickened milk. It's not unpleasant, but I'm not convinced that I would eat these at every meal. Well, I don't know. I can definitely see me finishing it. I'm going to carry on. I'm going to eat the beans and scrambled eggs kind of in rotation with the grits and see how that works out. Okay, I've nearly finished, and I have to say the beans, eggs, bacony grits combo did work quite well. They did complement each other quite nicely. I'm really interested to know, maybe someone in the comments can tell me, what's the difference between like instant grits and non-instant grits? Are instant grits noticeably different from non-instant grits? I think over here, instant porridge is probably a bit different from regular porridge, especially when they really grind the oats down. But generally speaking, not a huge difference. So I'm interested to know if that holds true for grits as well. So anyway, I'm definitely glad to have finally, at 51 years old, tried grits. It was an interesting experience. Thank you again, Erie, for sending them to me. I will eat the other, I think there's another seven sachets or something like that in that box. So I'll gradually work my way through those with various other meals. But yes, an interesting experience. Hope it was for you too. I will leave it there now then and say, as always, thank you very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.